It's time for our HR gal. She's back to give us our tips. We have Sheryl Bender here, and we're going to talk about networking. Sheryl, why is networking so important when you're looking for a job?
Networking is important because what most people don't realize is that a personal contact is the best way to get a job. You know, it gives your application something more than just, you know, disappearing into what people think of as the black hole. You know, if you have a connection, then, you know, you can learn about opportunities that aren't even necessarily published. I mean, there's so many reasons to make sure that you have a really strong network.
Where would you recommend starting? There's so much out there.
You know, I would say, you know, focus on the field you're in and then locate some of the professional organizations. You know, they often have conferences, lunch meetings, mixers.
Oh, okay.
Meet people in your field, you know. Go to these functions. They're usually pretty inexpensive. Chat people up, you know, get their business cards. And then once you do that, then you follow up with a connection on LinkedIn, because now that you've had that face-to-face,
Right.
you can make, you know, the lasting connection.
Right.
Well, let me ask you about the networking where you're meeting them in a professional setting. Are you chit-chatting them up? Do you base it all on professional conversations, or are you trying to become friends with them? I think that's the hardest part about networking.
That's a good question, because you don't want to be too pushy and
Right.
act like a salesperson and you're pitching yourself.
Right. You know what? I find that the more natural the conversation, whether it's with regard to the topic at hand or something in your profession, or even something like you notice they have on your favorite color, anything that will break the ice and make a, you know, form the basis of conversation is a good place to start.
Just make the initial connection.
Exactly.
But if you're finding like you're chatting about TV or, you know, like just fluff stuff too much, do you want to make sure you're bringing it back to
Definitely.
Something professional?
Definitely. I mean, if you have the opportunity to throw out a question to a new person you meet, it's probably going to be something along the lines of, what do you do? You know, and then you'll start discussing that. So.
And so do you also have to have your elevator pitch down of like, this is exactly what I do, or?
You know what? I would actually say no, because the more natural version of networking happens when you're not trying to get something from somebody. So if you have your elevator pitch ready, then it's almost like the connection you're trying to make is artificial, because all I want from you is a job.
And people start getting suspicious.
Exactly.
And should you always, I mean, is LinkedIn, is that the last place you should leave it? Or are you also trying to say, hey, let's meet for coffee or anything like that?
You know what? LinkedIn is a good place to maintain it. If it turns out then you're trying to get some insight on the organization that they're affiliated with, that's when you might want to then reach out and say, hey, you know, let's grab a coffee or something like that, so that you can pick their brain, you know. And it's totally fair to let them know in advance that that's what you want to do.
All right, Sheryl, we'll be having coffee later. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, well, thanks for all those tips, and we'll be back with more on Every Way Woman.